Hello, Africa. Hello, Nigerians. Hello, the rest of the world. This is your boy, Dr. 96, aka The Realist. It is my pleasure, as always, to bring another interesting and vital topic for discussion and for exchange of opinion on my platform. So today, I just want to quickly lend my opinion, just as every other concerned Nigerians have done, about Nigerians government's determination in bringing Chinese doctors to Nigeria to come and fight COVID-19. I think, in my own opinion, and as every other reasonable and logical Nigerians have expressed their opinions too on social media, that there is no reason, there is no justification for Nigerian government determination to bring Chinese doctors rather, to come and fight coronavirus. As we speak, the number of casualties from coronavirus in Nigeria is still less than 10. That is, the number of casualties from coronavirus is still in unit in Nigeria, and the number of infection is just slightly above 200. So why do we need the presence of Chinese doctor in Nigeria when our doctors back home, they are doing extremely and wonderfully well? So we should appreciate our doctors and we should honor them, we should respect them. NMA, Nigerian Medical Association, they've equally expressed their opinion that there's no need for Chinese doctors to come and assist them. I think the federal government should respect the yearning, the opinion and aspiration of Nigerian masses. In democratic system, the masses hold the power. The power belongs to the masses. I think the government should respect the masses by doing what they want. We don't want the presence of Chinese doctor in Nigeria. As we all know, China is not operating democracy. They are still operating communist system of governance. So Chinese is completely secretive country. When this COVID-19, coronavirus to be precise, when it broke out in Wuhan, China hid a lot of information to the rest of the world that today, countries like America, Britain, Germany, France, Canada, and the rest of the world, they are still asking China a lot of questions that Chinese government has failed to produce a reasonable answer. Because Chinese government, they are not open about the actual number of casualties from coronavirus. The evidence shows the number of ashes sent to families from the funeral homes is more than 20,000. That shows over 20,000 people died in China as a result of coronavirus. But today, Chinese government has still maintained their lies and hypocrisy that the number of casualties is less than 3,500. That aside, however, apart from Chinese government hiding a lot of facts from the rest of the world about the incidence and the burden of coronavirus in China, there's a lot of evidence to support the agitation to resist Chinese doctors from coming to Nigeria. I will use some countries as a case study. For example, the number of casualties in Italy was between 6,000 and 7,000 before the invitation of Chinese doctors to Italy, while the number of infection is slightly above 50,000. But today, the number of casualty as we speak in Italy is more than 18,000. Just in a question of 1 month, the number of casualty in Italy as a result of the presence of Chinese doctors rose above 300%. And the number of infection rose from 50,000 plus to over 200,000 as we speak. Does the presence of Chinese doctor makes any impact in Italy? The answer is obvious no, capital no. Rather, the presence of Chinese doctor in Italy has aggravated and worsened the situation, and it has dramatically increased the death rate from coronavirus and automatically increased the number of infections too by more than 400,000, by more than 400% rather. Furthermore, to buttress my point, I'm going to use France as a second case study. The number of casualties, that is, the number of deaths from coronavirus in France was below 1,000, and the number of infection was just around 3,000. When France ordered equipment and ventilators from China in order to fight coronavirus, it was later discovered that some of the equipment delivered from China to France have been infected. And today, as we speak, the number of deaths in France has risen from less than 1,000 to over 10,000 as we speak. So we can see there has been a dramatic increase of over 1,000%. There has been a dramatic increase in death rates in France by over 1,000%. Spain is not left out. So what I'm saying in essence is that the presence of Chinese equipment in France has worsened the case of coronavirus. So we don't need them. We don't need Chinese help. We don't need their doctor, because from the two examples I provided, at least the presence of Chinese doctors and equipment in those two countries have cost the two countries, a lot of economic loss and manpower loss. So we don't want them to come and replicate the same thing in Nigeria. My fear is that Nigeria is the powerhouse of Africa, the giant of Africa. We don't want Chinese government, we don't want China to come and use this opportunity to exploit us more. So if the number of casualties and the number of infections have been dramatically increased in those countries where there has been presence of Chinese experts and their equipment during this COVID-19 period. So what is the essence? What is the probability? What is the proximity that the presence of Chinese doctor will not come and worsen and aggravate situation in Nigeria? So I'm speaking authoritatively, logically, that the presence of Chinese doctors in Nigeria has a potential to increase the number of casualties and the number of infections in Nigeria. Chinese are known for their dubious and atrocity all over the world. Chinese people, an average Chinese person is ready to compromise just because of business opportunity. So we don't want them to come and turn Nigeria situation to unbearable one. We are satisfied. We are confident in our doctors, and our doctors have been doing great and wonderful job. We don't want the federal government to invite Chinese doctors. Please, Nigerians, this is not the time that we will sit in our various comfortable house and be grumbling. We should rise on our feet and make our stand known to the government that we say no to the importation of Chinese doctor, because wherever they have been their footsteps during this coronavirus, there has been increased cases of death and casualties, and we don't want such in Nigeria. In addition, Chinese people have been known to be one of the greatest racists of the modern world. And from their hostilities against Africans, so Chinese people, China's doctor, they are not in the best position to come and assist us at this period. There's a popular video going on social media now. There is a video going viral. There are some group of African businessmen who traveled to China during this coronavirus. When they landed in China, they were quarantined for 14 days. And after the expiration of the 14 days, it was completely obvious that they don't have coronavirus infection. But what does the Chinese government do? Instead of allowing them to carry out their business activities, they send them out from the hotels, and they don't provide alternatives for them. They were not allowed access to Chinese restaurants. They were denied public services such as food, restaurant service, hotel service. Some of them, they are sleeping under the bridge in China as we speak. So if truly Chinese people truly love Africa, would they treat Africa like that in this modern world, when it is obvious that coronavirus does not break out from Africa? So if they can openly treat Africans with disdain and disgust at this present time, so how do we ensure, how are we assured that they are going to help us? How are we sure they are going to help us? They don't have our interest, and I believe the presence of their doctors in Nigeria or any part of Africa will worsen coronavirus, and they will turn it to a business opportunity. They are very dangerous people. They are wicked and malicious people. We don't want them. If they can openly treat us with such amount of hatred, they don't allow our people access to hotel, to any form of accommodation, even food service. They were denied from entering restaurants. If they can treat us openly, what is the guarantee that they are coming to assist Africans in love? So we don't want our enemies to come and disguise in form of friendship in order to infect us. We don't want them. We don't want them. So Nigerian government should respect the yearning and aspiration, and respect the dignity and the rights of Nigerian citizens. May God be with us, and we should not allow the government to treat us the way we don't want. We have the right to choose what we want. Few set of people in government cannot dictate for the entire population. Nigerian leaders, they are less than 1% of the population. As a result, they should not dictate for us. It is what we want. Our doctors are enough for us. The service which our medical doctors are providing, they are enough for us. So how do we trust Nigerian government in the first place that they will not compromise the health and the life of Nigerians just for monetary value? As we can see, during this period of lockdown, a lot of meaningful Nigerians, a lot of philanthropists in Nigeria have donated huge amount of money in order to cushion the effect on the masses. But till today, as we speak, they have not distributed the money, they have not distributed food. But what we heard today is that the house of the financial director, that is the finance minister, his office got engulfed, rather, our office got engulfed with fire. So, therefore, there will be no document. They did this. They set the office on fire in order to manipulate documents and to exaggerate the amount which they have spent in order to divert the rest money to their private accounts. I think this shows how callous and how wicked and how inhuman our leaders are. If they can set the office on fire, this money does not belong to the federal government of Nigeria. Rather, it was donated by meaningful Nigerians to assist Nigerians. They don't care about our lives, so they are ready to compromise. We don't know what the Chinese government have offered them, so and we don't care to know. All we care is that we don't want Chinese doctor in Nigeria. Please help me to share this video, and I want all meaningful Nigerians, I want all Nigerian bloggers, those who have influence, large followers on Twitter, YouTube, and the rest of the social medias, they should use their platform to raise this awareness and to inform and encourage people to stand for their rights. Peace and love. Bye.